Hey everyone, and welcome back to the You Run podcast True Crime. My name is Scott, and I'm going to be your host for what is going to be a very strange and quite a difficult episode for me, and probably some of you who listen regularly as well. So, as you'll see, Heather is not here, and I'll get to that in just a minute. But first of all, I want to kind of explain where we are as a show as of right now. So, lots of people will be aware that everything that's come out this year has been pre-recorded, and if you're not aware of that, so last November was the last time me and Heather sat down and recorded an episode. We still talk every day, but that was the last time that we got together face to face to record episodes for you. So every single episode of 2025 was pre-recorded last year, and the reason we done this is Heather was pregnant. Heather loves having babies, and she decided to have one more, a beautiful little girl called Stevie. And Heather took maternity leave, so we prepped and we put in loads and loads of work, and we were doing like back-to-back episodes every single week to get enough content to fill the first half of 2025 with a view for Heather to return around now and record another episode for us to come back in August with a brand new episode. Now, as most of you know, when you have children and you have babies and you get them in a routine, getting that routine is difficult, and every child is different. Some children fall into a routine really easy, others not so much. And at the moment, Heather's not in a position where her routine is set enough that she can come back to record. And there's part of me that's quite glad, and I want to explain that. So I've enjoyed having a break from true crime, like a complete break from true crime. I haven't watched any true crime documentaries, I've not read any articles, and I'm feeling very happy for having not done that. All of our regular listeners know that kind of part of the gimmick of this show is that I dislike true crime. I find it genuinely disturbing, and it affects me emotionally. Like, I've got a horror movie podcast that I do with Mark, and I can talk about horror movies, even the most heinous of horror movies, and it doesn't bother me that much. And the reason it doesn't bother me is because they're works of fiction. They come from someone's imagination, and I know at the end of the day, when I turn that off, it is not real. The same can kind of be said for some of the true crime documentaries. I can watch those and they're very much in a jazzed up way, and they give me some of the information, and it's not real. But anyone who's actually investigated true crime and actually dug into reading through case files and reading through reports and reading through eyewitness accounts, not what's presented in a documentary, but actually reading the words of what some of these criminals done, it sticks with you. It haunts you. There are cases we've covered on this show that have caused me sleepless nights. And for someone who suffers with insomnia, a sleepless night for me is like 2 hours. And honestly, it's difficult for me to do this show. So me and Heather had a sit down and a long conversation the other day about what the future of the You Run podcast True Crime is. Whether we call it a day and we go in another direction and do something else. And if I'm honest, neither of us want to do that. But we're not ready to return either. So what we've decided to do is take a break. I don't know how long this break is going to be. It could be a month. It could be 2 months. It could be the rest of the year. At the moment, me and Heather don't know, because we don't know when she'll be in a position where she can come back to record, and I don't know when I'm ready to dive back into covering some of the cases that I know you're going to want us to cover in the future. I want to thank everyone who supports this show and has supported this show and has joined in on the journey and even given me moral support when I was struggling with cases. They're like, yeah, you're doing good. Like, we know it's rough, but you're getting there. What you're putting out is great. And that means a lot to me, and it means a lot to Heather. The support you show us is way beyond anything we ever expected when we started this sort of monthly true crime pod. We never expected to get this much love and get this much attention and have people saying things like, I love listening to your show because it doesn't sound like someone's reading from Wikipedia, or I love listening to your show because you actually give us opinions, not just the facts. And that's really important. And there's no way that me or Heather can or will give that up. But we do need to take a step back. We need to work out when we can return. And we need to make sure that when we come back fully focused and locked in for the long haul. So we don't take a break again. So we know exactly where we're going and exactly what we want to do. And part of that is going to be some reformatting of the show. Part of that is going to be me and Heather deciding how we deliver cases to you and how we give you the information, how we give you our opinions, and how we move the show forward in a way that is creative and different and can get all of your involvement again, because your involvement is something that's been lacking for a while, and me and Heather are very aware that we need to get you involved again. And true crime is a really difficult thing to have interactive features with. It's very difficult to get people's opinions and thoughts on something that is real life. So again, that's something that we're going to work on. For our Patreon members, this is going to affect some of your Patreon tiers. Like, we were going to give you an extra true crime show as part of those tiers. That is still going to happen. It's just going to be slightly delayed. What I am going to do in the meantime, this will be exclusively for Patreon, is there's going to be one episode a month where I will deliver a short true crime case in video form. It's going to be short and sweet, but it's going to be just for you guys on Patreon until me and Heather are back. I kind of want to apologise that we need to take a break, but also I'm not sorry that we do. I'm sorry that we've had to take this away, but we're doing it for the good of the show and for my mental well-being and for Heather's family life. Like, this is something we need to do. I kind of guess that's about where we are. I'd love for you to support the show during our hiatus. I don't know how you do that, whether that's sharing old episodes or just calling in and just giving us content for when we come back. I don't know. Like, comment on this with what you want us to cover when we do come back. Let us know the cases that you're really interested in. Are you interested in us diving into the Diddy case, which, when this goes out, is kind of nearly over? Are you interested in us returning back to the Tiger King and maybe interviewing Joe's new husband, or interviewing his lawyers, or interviewing Joe again? Do you want us to dive more into cults? Like, you tell us. This is the You Run podcast, True Crime, and we need that feedback. We need that information so we can gear everything forward for you. But until next time you see me, you'll see Heather too, because Heather will be back. Stay safe, and to quote Heather, stay spooky. Bye, guys.